Are we good with the light? Sorry, the light was being a little wonky. Hi, everybody. Sorry about that. Welcome back to the channel. This is United versus Everybody. I am Sean. This is the Manchester United fan channel that's built by the fans, fan opinion first, always powered by you guys, grown by you guys. You guys are getting the subscription count way up there. You guys are subscribing. The community is getting big. We are on the road to 2K subscribers, and it's all thanks to you. And so thank you again. Appreciate everything you guys are doing, engaging with the channel, getting involved in the comments, obviously liking the videos and watching them. Appreciate it. Obviously, international break continues. I don't know if you guys have been watching the match. Honestly, I haven't watched any yet. They're on a lot of them are on like this thing called VIX. I don't even know what that is, but haven't really watched them. You know how I feel about friendlies, but we are gonna chat a little bit today about a player that maybe you guys can get an eye on for Belgium during the international break. I don't even check. Again, I don't even know if he's playing yet, but we're going to talk a little bit today about a player that I've been watching for a few years, a player that I really, really like to see at United someday, and do a little bit of a scouting report, a deep dive, a closer look at his profile, his numbers, his history, see what you guys think. I do like scouting reports. You know I do. I did a lot of them when we were linked with De Ligt, Mazraoui, Ugarte, all these guys, and we're doing another one today. So while there may not be any Premier League football, it doesn't mean we don't have things to talk about. So despite the international break, we've already talked a little bit about tenhag. We talked about potential January signings. Obviously, this morning we looked a little bit about what makes a good football manager. We talked a little bit about that criteria and things that that I put out there. What are you guys saying? Usman, welcome back. Danny, big up. Sean, got the shirt earlier. Thanks. Awesome, man. That's awesome. Like, got there pretty quickly too. You live in Boston, I think, right? So I just did that like a couple days ago. Awesome. Glad you got it, man. Let me know how it fits. Let me know how it looks. Thank you again for getting involved, Danny. Big up. So today, again, I want to hit you with a little bit of a throwback and do another scouting report. So let's set the scene first. So again, context is key, right? So United's winger situation is a bit precarious these days, right? Heading into the transfer window, we technically had 6 wingers. Facundo Pellistri was sold. Omari Forson left for free. Remember that guy? We just sold Jadon Sancho to Chelsea. That leaves us with Rashford, Garnacho, Ahmad, and Anthony. Anthony, for a lot of people, and myself included, and probably Omar Barada. We know Omar Barada's got his rules when it comes to 2 years to prove yourself. But Anthony is likely on his last chance at United. Despite United fending off deadline day loan offer from Real Betis, you remember that? I think that it was probably a case of that being too late for us to try to find a replacement. So I think if that had that happened in like June, we might be singing a different tune right now. But this also may be a make or break season for Marcus Rashford as well in many people's eyes. You can go find that video on Rashford. I'll put it in the description after the video. I think I forgot to put that one in there. But go check out that video on Rashford as well. So all that being said, by the window is open, we had 6 wingers. The window closes, we're down to 4. Again, another situation, kind of like fullbacks right now, where one injury is going to leave us light as far as rotation and depth go on the wings. There are a few young promising players coming through the academy, but I don't know if any of those players are quite ready yet. Obviously, Shea Lacey's coming back from injury. Ethan Ennis looked decent. He's doing well. Bian Sherry's doing pretty well, but all these guys are still very, very young. So we're already probably need to be looking at options for the wing, at least if nothing else, to cover our bases, you know, in case Anthony just has another stinker, if we get another long-term injury, if Rashford decides he doesn't want to stick around, or if we decide Rashford's just not going to do it and maybe somebody comes in with a big offer. Who knows? A lot of contingencies. It's good to be proactive and plan for that. So that brings us to the subject of today's scouting report. A rising star. He's putting up solid numbers in recent years. He also has connections to United's current coaching staff as well, which we'll talk about a little later. So today, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to learn a little bit more about 21-year-old PSV Eindhoven winger Johan Bakayoko, my dream right wing signing for Manchester United. Danny B's backing me up in the chat. Bakayoko fire, always top target. Yeah, Bakayoko is on point. Today we're going to learn why. So let's get stuck in, guys. Still just 21. Bakayoko has really only been playing first-team football for a few years now. It hasn't been a super long time. Belgian, born in Belgium. He had the chance to represent, I think it was the Ivory Coast as well, but chose Belgium where he was born. He jumped around the academies of a few Belgian sides growing up, including Club Brugge and Anderlecht as well. Ended up switching over to PSV's academy in 2019. He made his first team debut not all that long ago, like 2 years ago, I think. And then in the 2022-23 season was really his breakout season. And that's when Ruud was PSV Eindhoven's manager as well. In that season, he scored 5 goals, assisted 5, and he just had 17 starts. So for his first season, already 10 in goal involvements and 17 starts, not too shabby. He also created 6 big chances that season too. For a young teenager in their first year of full team or first team football, not bad at all. It's kind of like Kobbie Mainoo, right? 4 of his goals as well were from inside the box. And considering his ability to dribble, close control, speed, to beat a man, to get into advanced positions, it's not surprising to see him getting so many goals from inside the box. He's getting into those areas because he's just very good with the ball at his feet. He was actually 6th in the league that season, so 22-23, for successful dribbles per 90. He can beat a man, he's quick, carry the ball forward. Again, not bad for his first real season of first-team football. Last season, the 23-24, he kept up that momentum. So Ruud left, Bakayoko kept on going. And he took what Ruud taught him, and he just kept going. He scored 12 last season and had 9 assists in the league. That's just in the league. He had 12 big chances. So he doubled his chance created, and more than doubled his goals, and nearly doubled his assists in just a season. Like, this guy is just a natural. He was 4th in the league last season for key passes per 90. So he has an eye for a pass. He's got an eye for creating chances. And he was 2nd again for successful dribbles last season as well. So he jumped up 4 spots for successful dribbles per 90 in the league. So clearly he took to it like a duck to water. He featured in the Team of the Week 8 times last season. He was in SofaScore's Eredivisie Team of the Season last year with the high ratings. And last season, he was also awarded the Johan Cruyff Trophy, which is the award for Dutch Footballer of the Year that's voted on by the players as well. So a huge, huge season for Bakayoko last year. Danny says he's a right-wing version of Doku, probably a better finisher, though. Yeah, he's very, very good. And both are Belgian, both very good. So maybe we're seeing the new golden generation of Belgium. I never understood why they called it Belgium's golden generation. They didn't win anything. They didn't do anything. I think it's down to maybe a lack of a really, really world-class striker, because I never really considered Lukaku a world-class striker. But they have very good midfielders, very good wingers, very good defenders for a while, and one of the best keepers in the world in Courtois. Never understood why they didn't do it, but it is what it is. Let's look at some of his percentile ranks. So in his first season in the Eredivisie, he was already up there. He was in the top 15% for shot creating actions. He was in top 15% for passes attempted. His pass completion was an 80. That jumped up the next season. But if you look at his progressive numbers, his passes, his carries on the ball, his take-ons, his touches in the attacking area, he's literally in the top 10%. In fact, for getting into the advanced position, so touches in the opposition area and progressive passes received, literally in the top 2% for those progressive passes received, and the top 10% for touches, top 5% for successful take-ons, and top 3% for progressive carries. So the guy is literally just all about getting that ball, getting it forward, getting into the area, shooting or creating for his team. And actually, he pitched in a lot off the ball as well that first season. He was actually in the top 15% for tackles per 90 for wingers in the top 5 leagues as well. Not too shy from that that total football mindset in the Eredivisie. He is on and off the ball, you're still playing. A lot of his numbers improved last year as well. So he's in the top 1% for progressive passes received last year. So he's staying in those advanced positions, but he's learning how to do a little bit more. He's also in the top 1% for progressive carries per 92. So he's only improving, and we saw that from his goals and assists and his chances created. He's in top 5% for getting into the opposition area, top 3% for those successful take-ons. So the guy just he was created in a lab to get the ball and move it up the pitch. That's all he does, and he does it better than 90% of other players in the top 5 leagues right now. It's insane. If you guys ever watch the Eredivisie, give Bakayoko a chance. So a little bit more about his profile. He's naturally left-footed. He generally plays on that right-hand side, though, that typical kind of gets the ball, cuts in, and takes a shot off. He uses his speed, uses his close control. He causes a lot of nightmares for the opposition fullbacks. And again, he can either cut inside, but he can also create chances by getting the ball to the byline as well. In fact, only 3 players in the Eredivisie last season recorded more successful crosses from open play. He had 26 successful crosses from open play. Only 3 players did better than he did. Does this profile start to sound a little familiar? So it's exactly the same kind of profile that we thought we were getting with Antony. And quite frankly, it was exactly the same profile that Antony had at Ajax. Similar to the way Amad Diallo plays, gets the ball, gets into advanced position, finds a teammate or takes a shot off. It's similar in profile to another one of our top targets in the summer, which was Michael Olise, who at Crystal Palace last season, basically the same style, gets the ball, gets it up, creates, or he cuts in and shoots. Sounds like that's a little bit what we're looking at. It sounds like it's more of the modern winger. You know, you still want to be able to put a ball in the box, but you want to be able to either kind of move in centrally, get into these channels, maybe get involved in a little bit of the overlap and underlapping a little bit more with your fullback as well. But I like what I see from Bakayoko. And so for those of you who might not rate the Dutch league, because that's something we see all the time, right? Like, it's just the Eredivisie. It's not one of the big leagues. Kind of like Tenhag when people say, well, Ajax always win. Well, look at what Tenhag did in the Champions League with Ajax. Look at what Bakayoko's numbers in the Champions League were, because they were stellar. His chance creation, his shots, and his build-up play, his build-ups leading to a shot, basically, were bettered only by Phil Foden, Rodri, and Ousmane Dembele in the Champions League last season. And that's coming from Opta. The guy is a machine, and I want him at United. You should want him at United too. So there could be a little bit of a stumbling block, though, when it comes to getting him over the line. Obviously, a lot of this is assuming that we're interested. I'm interested. But Bakayoko has openly stated that when he does leave PSV, he only wants to move to a team in the Champions League. He wants to be in the Champions League. This summer, he was linked to Liverpool, Arsenal, Borussia Dortmund, PSG, and RB Leipzig as well. But he did opt to stay at PSV for another season. He turned down a lot of big wage offers to do that. A lot of big salaries were coming his way, and he turned it down. And that shows me a confidence. That shows me that he backs himself. It shows me that he's got good people speaking in his ear, that he can stay and do well. Maybe not. Maybe it's too soon to take on such a big challenge. Maybe he knows that if he goes to some of these other teams, like if he goes to Liverpool, he's probably not going to get in over Salah, right? If he goes to PSG, he's probably not going to get in over Dembele. If he goes to Arsenal, is he going to start over Saka? Probably not. I'm not saying he's worse. I'm just saying that Saka's better right now. But time can tell, because Bakayoko was very good. So that tells me that he's being very smart about where he's going to make his next decision. It means his agent is telling him the right things. He's surrounding himself with people who are telling him the right things, trying to look out for his career. I know we spoke a little bit about that a few weeks ago. These players, this is their job. They have families. They have their own lives as well. They have to look out for themselves as well. It's not just blind loyalty and you sacrifice anything and everything off the pitch for what happens on the pitch. They're human beings. Would you guys do that for your jobs? Probably not. And so he's already taken that confidence, that backing himself. I mean, he's already started this season off very, very well. He's got, obviously, it's early in the season, 3 matches in, but he's already got 2 goals in these first 3 matches of the season in the Eredivisie. So if we are interested, if any club is interested in Bakayoko, they need to act quickly. They need to maybe lock that deal up before he just keeps racking up more goals. He already doubled his numbers in a single season. Imagine what he's going to do more. We might have a secret weapon in this, though, and that secret weapon is Ruud van Nistelrooy. So Ruud van Nistelrooy actually coached Bakayoko during his time as coach of young PSV, their academy team, and then again when Ruud became PSV's first team manager. In fact, it was during the 21-22 season, so that was his first season as the coach at the young PSV, that Bakayoko put up 17 goals and 11 assists in the Dutch second division. He was directly involved. That means he was directly involved in the goal every 85 minutes in the second division. That's a big deal. That's world-class level numbers. And obviously it was the second division and it was the academy, but he was a teenager and he was doing this. Not everything in the second division is an academy, by the way. Sometimes it's relegated sides and things like that. So you are playing against experienced veterans and whatnot. So keep that in mind as well. So again, before Ruud arrived, though, he only had 1 goal and 3 assists, and that was when Ruud was not the coach. And so Ruud clearly has there's a correlation there. I'm not saying it's only down to Ruud. Ruud's got the magic wand. He made things happen. But there was a role that Ruud played in that. Ruud did have a hand in improving Bakayoko. And don't just take my word for it. Take Bakayoko's, because he has credited Ruud's coaching for turning him into a prolific attacker. So recently he was speaking to The Athletic, and he did give it some statements. And he said that Ruud was crucial because what a lot of people don't know is he was my coach for 4 years before he was the coach of the first team. So I know him very well. I wanted to be a killer in front of goal. I learned a lot of little things. Going deeper, the way I shoot. My shooting was bad. The angle of my shots to shoot and everything. I improved a lot of my killer instinct with him. He continues and says, I used to stay wide, receive the ball, and dribble. But Ruud told me, if you want to score more goals, you need to be inside the box. Under Ruud at young PSV, Bakayoko was 6th in the league for those touches in the opposition box. He had 193 touches in the opposition box. So again, what this tells you is Bakayoko is teachable. He's coachable. He listens. He learns. And that's a really big trait for players, no matter how old you are. You need to be able to be teachable, coachable. You need to be able to take on sometimes new ones. I don't care if you're Ronaldo and you're 37 or if you're Bakayoko and you're a teenager. You need to be able to be teachable sometimes. Be humble enough to listen to what the manager says. So he also had the most goals from outside the penalty area in the Dutch second division. He had 6 of those. So he's shown a little bit of discernment on when to maybe try to create, when to try to shoot, and what that needs to look like. And it's improving, as we've seen from his numbers. His numbers are stellar. And so as his numbers, his profile, his connections with Ruud, if that's not enough to convince you, let's talk a little bit about the elephant in the room, because I know I have some people, when they listen to this, or if the links start up, some people are going to have an issue with this. And it's yes, it's another Eredivisie player that means that Ten Hag will be bringing to United, right? And it's been one of the sticks that people have beaten him with since he's arrived. Like, he's only signing Dutch players, he's only signing Eredivisie players, he's only signing his player as well. I'll be honest, I really couldn't care less about that. If it's the best player for the side, then that's the best player. Who cares if they're Dutch, if they're from the Eredivisie, if Ten Hag has coached them before? What does it matter? We've already talked about that before. It's not unheard of for managers to look at players with whom they worked. It's not like unheard of for managers to target a player that is the same nationality. Jurgen Klopp did not want Mo Salah. He wanted Julian Brandt, who is German, who's from the Bundesliga, who's like, it's not like it's unheard of. Jose Mourinho brings the man of match with him pretty much everywhere he goes. Danny says 35 million with add-ons. What do you think? Well, we'll see. We're going to get to that. So again, on the Eredivisie, other clubs buy Eredivisie players for years, right? Liverpool grabbed 2 recently, and Ryan Gravenberch and Cody Gakpo. Gakpo was from PSV. Arsenal got Urian Timber. Chelsea got Noni Madueke, who was also at PSV. West Ham brought in Edson Alvarez and Mo Kudus. Brighton just picked up Mats Weifer, and so on and so on. And obviously, a lot of those big Ajax players, the De Jongs, the De Lits, the Van de Beeks, all those guys came and left, to big clubs as well. And why is it never a big deal when another club wants a Dutch player, but it's a big deal when United do it? It's when it's Ten Hag, it's a problem. Like, make that make sense to me. So on your point, Danny, it's rumored that PSV, I got something in my eye, we're holding out for around 50 million pounds when clubs came sniffing around Bakayoko back in January. So that was back in January. They were looking around 50 million pounds. It was like between 40 and 50 euros, million euros. And if you can bet that if the young Belgian keeps up his numbers, you can expect that price to increase. So again, our current options on the wing are Rashford, Garnacho, Ahmad, and Antony. And again, Antony, remember, he was subject of that last-minute loan offer from Real Betis. If it's possible to get Bakayoko in January, let's play a hypothetical game. If that's a possibility, similar to how Liverpool grabbed Cody Gakpo in January, then I say we see again if Real Betis are interested in a deal for Antony, and we try to make it happen. I'd like us to make this happen in January if possible. It's going to depend for me on what we do in January. I think it's really going to, my focus in January, and the main concern is going to be what's the left back situation is, as I've talked about the other day in that video. If we still have injury issues at left back, then I would really like us to focus on left back and try to make something happen for that in January. Again, there are a couple that I listed in the video, one of whom we've already been linked with. Aitnori and Leif Davis at Ipswich Town. It's those, for those, anything like that to happen, it would depend a lot on where those clubs are in the league by that time, and obviously our injuries. We've seen that PSV have done business in January in the past, so it's not impossible. We do have the Ruud connection. The problem is there's an Antony-sized like lump in our squad right now, in both in terms of wages and the fee we paid and just his presence. Obviously, it doesn't seem like he wants to leave. Other clubs were interested, and so I think that it would take a lot of convincing to get that over the line. I think that deal is going to hinge a lot on Antony and obviously our funds. There's a rumor that we're potentially facing some sort of new PSR issue. I haven't looked a whole lot into that yet, so I don't know in depth what that all entails, but we'll see what happens funds wise. We could still see Eriksson go. If maybe we could throw Eriksson in the deal too. Ajax were interested in Eriksson. If Eriksson maybe wants to take a wage cut to go to Ajax, and maybe we can kind of let them have Eriksson, and then we can throw them, like you're saying, maybe 35, 40 million for Bakayoko, and maybe include some add-ons in there. I think that there's nothing that says that can't be done, other than maybe reality. Who knows? But we'll see what happens. If he continues to perform, it's going to take a lot of money to get Bakayoko. But that's just my opinion. I want to know yours. Are you guys familiar with Bakayoko? What do you think of him? Is he a player that you have your eye on, that you would like us to get? Do you think Antony can turn it around and be the winger that maybe Ten Hag thought he was getting when we brought him to United? Or is it just maybe too little too late for some of you? As always, it seems like there's more questions than answers when it comes to looking at players and whatnot. But in any case, it was still fun to maybe do another quick scouting report, share my thoughts on an exciting, young, I think, honestly, a potential future world-class winger. I think, as Danny says, I think Bakayoko is actually better in many ways than Doku. I think he's a much better finisher. He's much more just courageous and almost like ruthless, I guess, in that final phase of play. And I really like that about him. I think I see a lot of what we've seen from like Ahmad. I think it's like a little mixture of Ahmad's like close control and his ability to get forward, but Rashford's just like speed and intensity when he's in full run. And so I like that combination. It reminds me a lot of what we saw from Gakpo at PSV a little bit as well. But like the video and subscribe if you think Bakayoko would be improvement on Antony, if he's a player that you might like to have. Let me know your thoughts in the live chat. Let me know your thoughts in the comments after the fact. I will respond to all of them. And don't forget, as always, as I've been talking to you guys about all week, when it is time to buy your next jersey and you don't want to spend $150 on a club issue, player issue from the club's website, go out, check out Go Shop. I did put a link in the description of the video. You can get $5 off your order with that link and that unique coupon code. It did hook me up, as I wanted to thank you all for helping the channel get up to 1,200 subscribers. We are on the road to 2K. So when that happens, you guys, I'll hook you up again, like I promised, with some more giveaways. But the best way to get involved in the giveaways, to get entered into that, just get involved. Get involved in the chat. Show up to the videos, like them, get involved, leave some comments. It just puts your name out there. It is random, but it's like buying a lottery ticket. The more you buy, the better your chances. The more you're getting involved, the better your chances. So, Danny, what do you think about Bakayoko, man? Oh, look at that. Speak of the devil. He is my top pick to replace Antony, like Franco Mestantuono, but he's probably not ready to start in the first team. Yeah, Franco probably not ready for the first team. He would be one kind of like when we got Garnacho. We'd probably get him, throw him in the academy for a year or so, let us see how he does, and then maybe kind of bring him in and see what he does. Do you like Franco as a central player? Do you like him out wide? I know he can play both. I know he has played both. I'm curious what your thought, because you're going to know a lot more about him than I do, because you are the South American scout. That's your name now, by the way. Your name is no longer Dandy. It's the South American scout. You're SAS, as far as I'm concerned. So, what do you guys think of Bakayoko? Let me know your thoughts. I really like Bakayoko. I think he's a really good young winger. He kind of stepped in to take over from Madueke, Gakpo, Bakayoko were starting to kind of rotate a little bit. Good chance creator, good finisher, very good with the ball at his feet, very fast. Pretty much has everything you want in a winger. Ticks all those boxes in the modern winger. Same profile as Elise, who we were looking at basically before. Probably would cost a lot less as well, unless he just continues to just perform and outperform everybody. So we'll see what happens. But those are my thoughts. Let me know yours. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by tonight on another quick little video, but I do have fun doing them. And you know I love scout reports. So thank you, Danny. Thank you, Usman, for stopping by. I will see you guys tomorrow morning with some more videos. Hopefully, you know, if there's any big news popping up, we will get into. Hey, Nick, how are you, my guy? Good to see you. Want to talk a little bit about United's Europa League phase opponents and do some predictions on that tomorrow morning, I think, or maybe tomorrow afternoon, depending on how much time I get. I might watch the Legends game tomorrow, so let me guys know if you guys are planning to maybe check that out as well. I haven't really looked a whole lot into it, but I figured I still had the year to MUTV, so I might as well go check it out and watch it, right? Might as well get my money's worth since they don't play the academy matches right now, so what am I going to do there? So, Danny, talking about Mestan Tuono, he probably better centrally, to be honest, but I think he suits playing wide in Premier League, similar to Foden. Yeah, or like Havertz. It's like I don't know what position Havertz is his best position. I don't know what Foden's best position is. I haven't seen enough of Mestan Tuono to know what his best position is. But it's fun to find out. I think I think that with the right manager, the right youth team, the right coaching staff, I think that there's a lot of excitement, a lot of potential, a lot of possibilities when it comes to player development, especially these young players. I really like that we're linked with and sounds like we're actively interested in these young players like Nipan, Anselmino, Mestan Tuono, things like that. I really like that we're looking at these guys, similar to like what we did with Garnacho when he was at Atleti. So we'll see how it goes. But let me know your thoughts if you weren't able to catch the live. Leave a comment. I'll respond to the comments. As always, like the video if you haven't yet. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm going to try to stop by tomorrow, probably after the Legends game, and maybe take a look at United's Europa League phase opponents, what we can expect. Who do we think we're going to drop points to? Who do you think we're going to, probably pick up points against? Maybe predict, what that league looks like. We'll probably look at some of the other teams in the Europa League as well, see who we think is maybe going to progress. Again, new format. I did that video on the new format a couple of weeks ago, so go check that out. But thank you, everybody, for stopping by tonight. That is going to do it for me. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and be prepared maybe to give your thoughts on the Legends match tomorrow if we all end up watching it. Otherwise, I will see you to talk about Europa League a little bit. So take care, enjoy your night, and I will talk to you guys later. Danny, glad that you got the shirt in the mail, bud. Nick, keep an eye out. I sent it the same day. Obviously, you live a lot further away, so maybe it'll take a little while. But keep an eye out, Nick, probably next week at the earliest. But let me know when you do get it, bud. And if you guys take a photo, tag me on it on Twitter if you guys have Twitter. I love to see how they look and just show off to everybody. So take care, guys. Thanks, and I will talk to you later. Bye.